Hello everyone, got 5 dirty jokes for you today. So during a recent outing in New Orleans, a woman sneaked off to visit a fortune teller of some local repute. In a dark and hazy room, peering into a crystal ball, the mystic delivered grave news. There's no easy way to say this, so I'll just be blunt. Prepare yourself to be a widow. Your husband will die a violent and horrible death this year. Visibly shaken, the woman stared at the fortune teller's lined face, then at the single flickering candle, then down at her hands. She took a few deep breaths to compose herself. She simply had to know. She met the fortune teller's gaze, steadied her voice, and asked, "Will I be acquitted?" So a woman dies and goes to the afterlife. They tell her, "You were a righteous woman in your life. You may go to heaven. Here is the queue." She joins the queue, starts waiting. Suddenly, she hears a horrible scream. What was that? She asks a nearby angel. Well, a new soul is being converted into an angel, so they drill holes in their back for wings. She pales. Suddenly, she hears an even more horrible scream. And that was. Now, that's holes being drilled in the soul's head for the halo. No, I don't want that. No such heaven. Send me to hell now. Do you even know what you're asking for? The angel looks at her incredulously. As soon as you get there, demons will pounce upon you. Do you know what kind of sodomy they'll do to you? The woman thinks for a moment and says, "Whatever. Send me there. At least for that, I've already got the holes." So George walks up to Terry bruised, battered, and covered in blood. Terry asks what the hell happened to him. He says, "I'm just walking along, minding my own business, and this horse comes out of nowhere and knocks me down." "That explains it. Let me call you an ambulance," says Terry. George says, "Hold on, I haven't finished yet." So I get up, dust myself down, and wouldn't you know it, I get knocked down by a car. "Oh my God, it's a miracle you're still alive. I'll call an ambulance," says Terry. George says, "Hold on, I still haven't finished." I get up, dust myself down again. I've now got a few cuts and bruises. I catch my breath and I get knocked down by an ambulance. Terry says, "That's it, I'm calling the emergency services." George says, "Wait, I still haven't finished. Somehow I survived." I get up, I'm feeling groggy, but then I get hit by a fire truck. I get up swaying side to side. Then a helicopter crashes into me. Terry says, "It's a miracle that you're still alive." So what happened then? The carny operator kicked me off the carousel. So a woman went to a psychiatrist because she was having severe problems in the bedroom. The psychiatrist asked her a lot of questions, but he couldn't get a clear picture of the problems. Finally, he asked, "Do you ever watch your husband's face while you're having relations?" "Well, yes, I did once." "And how did he look?" "Oh boy, he looked angry." At this point, the psychiatrist felt that he was really getting somewhere. "Well, that's very interesting. We must look into this further. Now tell me, you say that you have only seen your husband's face once during lovemaking. That seems somewhat unusual. How did it occur that you saw his face that time?" "He was watching us through the window." A professional poker player dies and his spirit passes into the afterlife. When he gets to the afterlife, he finds himself at the back of a miles-long line to get into heaven. Drawing on his experience, the poker player immediately thinks of a way to get ahead of everyone else. He taps the old man ahead of him on the shoulder. Want to make a bet while we wait? The poker player asks. If I can guess your last words in 3 tries, you have to let me cut ahead of you. The old man, having nothing better to do, agrees. Immediately, the poker player begins reading him like the pro player he is. He notices the elderly Asian man's shirt is open, exposing a pair of defibrillator marks. Don't be silly, it's just indigestion, the poker player remarks. The old man looks a bit surprised, then steps aside, giving up his place in line. Next, the poker player taps on a redneck's shoulder. He makes the same bet, and the redneck also accepts. This one's easy. The poker player smirks, sizing up the bruised, bloody, grass-stained redneck with a caved-in skull. Hold my beer. Muttering profanities, the redneck begrudgingly steps aside and gives up his place in line. Riding the high of a hot streak, the poker player wastes no time tapping the next man ahead of him on the shoulder. He quickly makes the same bet, and is ecstatic when the agreement is made. Okay, let's see. The poker player studies the new mark carefully. He's a large, imposing black man riddled with several bullet holes. The poker player holds his hand out like a gun. You'll never take me alive. The man shakes his head. Wrong. The experienced poker player strokes his chin. The guy is giving him nothing else to work with. The poker player holds the gun sideways, makes a mean face, and shouts, "Screw the police." Wrong again. The poker player's getting frustrated now. He's never been unable to read someone before. Finally, the poker player throws his hands in the air in pure frustration. I've got nothing. He shouts. I give up. The man steps aside.